Wait for this to go live.
And
here it goes. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Fix This Build, that Sunday Night Live show. I'm Brad.
And I'm Susan.
And we were at the park today. I keep saying park, farm.
It was like a farm.
Pumpkin
patch.
Pumpkin patch. Pumpkin farm.
Lots of.
It was fantastic.
It was fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think we've established that it was fun. No, it was really fun. The kids had a great time.
There's nothing like a good pumpkin farm. Has anybody gone to the pumpkin farm yet? Let us know, because if you haven't, there's still time.
Some places are like snowy right now.
That's
true. It would not be probably the best pumpkin patch weather.
That is true. Let's see here. Let's see here. No les entiendo nada, pero. But here we are in Viendes. I don't know what that means, but I kind of understand some of the question, some of what you said there. Ben, what's up? Zoe, what is up? Zoe says hello. Zoe, you need to come over to YouTube. Zoe, YouTube is so much better.
Come over.
All right, who we have over here on the old.
They're giving out their locales over here.
I love Instagram. This is over on the YouTubes. We've got Travis, we've got Dennis, Big Willie, we got Keith.
Keith was
Mike
the first
Donaldson.
one.
Keith, he was the first one. That's awesome. Fly a bus from Spring Hill, just down the road. Love it. And Katie, what's up, Katie? Brian in the house. All right, cool. Well, welcome, guys. We had some fun today. We've been doing some things this week. I wish I had more to tell you, but I don't. But before we get into it, before we jump into everything, I do want to thank some new members to the Builders Club this week. We had Keith Freitag, which I believe, Keith F over there. Welcome, Keith.
I think that's actually Freitag.
Freitag?
It's German.
Okay.
Keith, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Freitag or Freitag?
I could be making things up.
Freitag or Freitag?
Maybe it's Freitag.
We have Kevin Gallmore, which I also saw over there. Kevin, welcome. And Rob Martin, which was hilarious because the way I can't even remember how he spelled it, but it was like...
What? Who?
Rob Martin. It was like the way he did it was really funny. And it was like M-A-R and then the number 10.
Oh.
Rob Martin.
That's fun.
What is up, guys? So welcome to the Builders Club. And if you're not familiar with what the Builders Club is, it's basically the inner circle of the Fix This Build That audience. And they get to hang out with us over either on Patreon or the memberships on YouTube. And they get extra content, updates throughout the week, and free plans, credits in the videos for different tiers. And we love those guys. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, you can head over to fixthisbuildthat.com/live. and get your name called out in some free plans as well. So let's see here. Before we jump into everything, I do want to talk about what we have going on this week. So our last live, I said that we would be launching the miter station part 2 today.
Lies.
I don't know why I even bothered to say. I mean,
it's like the opposite of naming it and claiming it. You know, it's like.
Name it and defame it.
Setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah, I just, man, things happen. And you guys know me by now, so
Life happens.
I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But yes, we had a delay, and we are working on that right now. And I decided to take some time. So my editor had some vacation, and but that's not the reason. That's not the reason. But it's partially. But not really. I used that as an excuse to not work on the project all weekend because I knew I would also have to edit it. So I waited. But he told me well in advance, and so it was my bad planning, not his, because it was the weekend. So of course he should be going on vacation. But anyway, so that will come out whenever it comes out. No, it'll be out this Sunday for sure. And that's going to be cool. It's going to be basically finishing out all the cabinets that are going to be installed, which are a couple uppers and then a lower 4-drawer cabinet, which is done and waiting to be installed. And so that's going to be the whole cabinetry portion of the miter saw stand. So
it's like standing sentry. Watching over the
shop
right now.
It is. I thought you about like standing in a century, like that's how long it's taking to make this project a century.
Century, like
yes.
Watching.
Yes. So that one will be coming out next, and then on top of that, we have the second portion of the small bathroom remodel, which I'll be making a vanity. So I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't locked the actual design down at all.
About the
We've
vanity?
talked about it.
I feel like we've locked it down and then unlocked it multiple times.
We were going to do a floating.
And it just sort of depends on,
We talked about doing a floating
That
vanity.
was going to be super cool until we realized.
So we realized that the supply lines are actually in the floor.
Right.
And so not a big deal to move them into the wall unless your wall is an exterior wall.
And ours
So,
is. And even though we live in Tennessee, which is not Minnesota, who has
Yeah.
snow right now and all of that, it's still an exterior wall. And it can get cold here. Cold is
And
relative,
so
I
I don't
realize.
want to, right, but we'll get below zero at times.
Yeah. I mean,
Not
sometimes.
Since, not since global warming.
Not very often.
Not very often.
But, you know, like,
anyway,
it could happen.
And so
the weather's
we had to
crazy
do some
now.
design changes, and that's that. So
Right. So so we just keep changing it.
yeah.
One day
But
we'll
it's all
settle
good.
on something.
But it's
all
all
good.
So we did have before we jump into the live questions. By
Right.
the way, Instagram folks, please come join. We look great, by the way, on Instagram now. This new phone, I got a new phone, so if you guys are seeing my stories or if you're following me on Instagram at Fix This Build That, you'll notice some better quality. We just got a new Galaxy S20.
Yes.
Which was an upgrade from the Galaxy S8. So it's like 3 steps because there was an S9 and an S10, and then they went to S20, which is
As
weird.
we're talking about this, I feel like we should have the upgrade music on in the background that you see on
Get your upgrade.
No, is that the one? Like whatever everyone's stories, like every
no idea.
person.
Oh, that was like
the upgrade one.
the loop.
I know it because
Lupo-
I've heard it a
Dia
million
Lupo, what's her
times.
name?
Like
Dia
anytime
Lupo?
anything's
I don't
changing
know.
on any story, it's upgrade or not.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Okay, stop pushing this. Don't push this, okay?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Goodness. I didn't realize I was. Now
Okay.
I know.
All right, so we
Yes.
did have a question. One of the
yes.
another one of the benefits of the
Patreon.
different patron levels here is getting your questions to the front of the line. So we had a question from Keith. Did we figure out?
Keith's here, yeah.
is it-
Oh, it's Freitag. And I was
Freitag.
like, I thought I knew that. And then he said, yeah, it's German for Friday. And I was like,
For Friday?
yes,
Oh,
that's the word for
sweet.
Friday. I took high school German, and I'm like,
Keith Friday.
super German.
Oh,
That's a
I
great
got-
name. At
I
least
gotta
you're
be
not like
super
Keith
honest,
Monday.
Keith, I think Keith Friday is kind of.
Keith Friday is super
That
cool.
should be like your pen name or your Keith Friday.
Maybe it
it's Like,
is.
it sounds like a 70s detective.
No,
He's
like a-
Keith Friday.
Like a noir, like a, you know what I'm talking about? The detectives. It was a dark and stormy night.
No. That, well,
No?
that's true. Like
Keith
Jimmy
Friday would be great
Jimmy
on that
Friday?
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Anyway,
Keith
we digress.
had asked. He said we had talked about this a couple lives ago, where I talked about some of the tools in the shop, and that I'd gotten some of these from sponsorships, and that we kind of walked through the history of my tools, and I talked about how I bought a lot of them off of almost at eBay. Well, I've been selling a ton of stuff on eBay.
He has. That's what he's done all week.
It is trying to clean the house.
Yes,
up.
it's
Just
very
get
good.
rid of like a camera that I've had for 5 years that I've never used in the last 5 years. Anyway,
Yes.
so asking like if I didn't buy stuff off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, he's saying like what he was asking was the purchase of new tools. Do I think I'd be able to purchase the larger new tools like a saw stop, like a jet 3 horsepower dust collector, a joiner, planer, whatever. And if not, would I be able to purchase those if I wasn't doing this for money? And if not, would I still be able to achieve some of the results on the projects
would you?
without the larger machines? He'd love to have some of the machines, but seeing the prices they sell for, it's a pipe dream. So,
Oh yeah.
Keith, that's a great question because that's a huge struggle because woodworking is not cheap, right? I mean, it's an expensive hobby.
It's not.
Between the tools and then the materials, $50 for a sheet of plywood, you're $7 to $8 a board foot for walnut. I mean, it gets expensive. Hardware, I mean, it's like never ending. So I'll kind of backtrack. Where I started was I did buy a lot of tools off Craigslist, but I did buy some tools new as well. I bought my first table saw. I bought it new with a coupon from Lowe's.
Always the coupon.
It was $500. I had a 20% off coupon, so I got it for $400. And it was a Delta contractor saw. Back when Delta was like, a lot more industrial and I don't know, just a better brand. I think they were. I think they're coming back, but they were like the brand back in the day for woodworking. So anyway, it was like a kind of a not an entry level. So it wasn't like a benchtop saw. It was a full cast iron top, 27-inch deep. And so, to answer the first part of the question, or maybe the second, whatever, could I make the things that I do without these larger tools? Absolutely. That was a saw that I bought, for $400. And I had a smaller bandsaw that didn't have the 13-inch resaw. It had the 6-inch resaw. It was a rigid one. I did buy it used. I had a smaller 6-inch joiner versus the 8-inch joiner. I had a small router table that I had made, and 100%. And a miter saw that was a 10-inch fixed miter saw versus a 12-inch. And one of the first projects I made was like a mortise and tenon white oak coffee table in the Craftsman style, and I did it in shop class, but I did a lot of the milling and stuff in my shop as well. I did use their mortiser, which helped a lot. But the point is like I used that contractor saw for the first, I had it when we moved here, and I started woodworking in 2002, 2003 is probably when I bought the table saw. And I had that table saw literally until 2014 or 15. So I had it for the first 10 years that I was woodworking, and I made all the stuff that I made in that first decade. So do you need big, fancy, expensive tools? The answer is absolutely not. No way, no how. You do not need it. You have to use the tools differently. So on a contractor's, a 1 1/4 horsepower contractor's saw, you need a thin kerf blade to really get through that wood. You can't be blasting through like 2-inch maple at any speed whatsoever. You're gonna burn it. There's different ways. Like when your machines are either undersized or underpowered, you're gonna have to use them a little bit differently. But you can absolutely do that. And then to answer the other part of the question about would I be able to buy those tools, 100%. It's hot in here. I have to leave this on. 100% because
you're getting all fired up over there.
I'm getting fired up.
I'm just reading comments.
I got the microphone on the wrong way. Anyway,
yeah.
100% because what I think one of the cool things about woodworking is that that's how most people buy. So if you look at a joiner, let's just say a joiner, $1,600 for like a nice 8-inch joiner, which I think is probably fairly accurate, or at least in the ballpark. $1,600. That's a lot of money. And how do you get the money to pay for that if you just aren't wealthy? Is you sell stuff. I mean, that's what most woodworkers do, is they make stuff either for themselves or for friends and family or for customers. And that's how I started out. So that's how I would fund even my Craigslist purchases. I was selling cutting boards. I was selling wall art and small desks and like little, like really small, like tables and desks, not like dining room tables, like side tables, small desks. And that's the great thing about woodworking, is that you can buy the tools that you want by using the tools that you have. That's a really great saying. You can buy the tools that you want by using the tools that you have.
That is true.
So yeah, don't be discouraged. Figure out if you want to invest in your hobby, and if it is a hobby for you, you need to probably do a little side hustle, sell some things to pay for it. If you want it to fully fund itself, it can, and that's the great thing about woodworking. So
all right,
that was an extended answer, but I think it's because that's a huge question. Many people are like,
frequently
how do
asked
I
question.
like your tools are so nice, or how do I get that? Well, just like if you're doing this as a hobby, your time is not that much of an issue because you're not trying to make a profit per se, right? So you can kind of invest your time in a hobby and not have to say, oh, I want to make $20 an hour in my shop, or $10 an hour, or $50 an hour. And so you can sell cutting boards and things like that for cheaper. That's actually the bane of most people who are trying to sell for profit. People who do it for a hobby is the bane of their existence because they undercut, and they'll sell a cutting board for $50 or $60 when in actuality you should probably be selling it for more like $75, $100, $125 to get a good margin and to pay yourself an actual good wage. All right, that was a great question, and I went deep on that one. So we're going to go welcome some folks.
Rick said, Susan, you look so disinterested in what Brad's saying.
I know, she was diving
I just
deep.
posted. Well, no, like I thought, I don't really have anything to add to this.
No,
you
she's
know
never
all
done
of this.
woodworking, so.
I have not bought the tools or any of that, so I was just trying to get caught
Ronaldo
up in the
Woodworks,
comments.
what is up? Dave Anderson, how's it going? Junior Silviera, I think I answered that one. That was good. You've always looked great. Curtis Wyberry says, you've always looked great. Talking about that. And let's see here. Ryan, what is up, my man? So much clearer. Can't log into YouTube at work. Who's moving to an actual shop? Ryan, congrats on moving to an actual shop, bro.
A real shop.
Up North Woodworks, we got John Arnetti. Let's see here. CA Construction, Vermont. And he's saying, yeah, you don't need all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Paparazzi, what's up, my man? The people are waiting.
What?
He said, enough with your one Patreon question. That's like
that's
not
true.
just a Patreon question. That's like a huge question that
That
so
is
many
a
people...
really frequently asked question, and I think there's a lot of frustration with that. Just you're scrolling through IG or wherever, and you see people's like big, beautiful, glorious shops, and it seems so unattainable, especially like in the beginning, or if it's more of a hobby, and it's just expensive, like you said. So And I'm sure you talked about this, I was reading, but like you didn't have all this when you started, or even close to when you started.
I was naturally rich. No,
just full of tools. It was a process, you know, and yeah, takes a while.
All right, what do we have over here on the?
So we have some questions
Let's
over here. People want to know what the beer is tonight.
Oh yes, the beer. We're back at the old trusty coastal lager. So.
And I'm just drinking water
tasty.
tonight.
Susan's
it's not
watering it.
super exciting. There is a little bit of flavor in there.
Oh, Brian Farn. Yeah, so I did wear my John Malecki hat today for a reason, because the Steelers bested the Titans.
I don't want to talk about it. It's too soon.
Gostkowski. We actually weren't even watching. I watched the beginning, and then we were listening to it and watching the updates.
We had to reserve tickets to go to the pumpkin patch.
Pushed it wide right. Yeah. Gostkowski's having a bad couple weeks. And
real bad.
Whatever.
Like
I felt good about the game because of how we played. We played horrible, and we still had a chance to tie it up with a field goal at the end. We played really bad in the first half, really bad. And so the fact that
then they did turn it around.
We came back.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel okay about it. I mean, it was just not a good game, but I feel good. Like if we rematched, I absolutely 100% think
it could go either way.
We'd be right in it.
Yeah.
Easy.
Totally. Yeah, we were at the pumpkin patch because I had to buy the tickets like a week in advance because it was, what's the thing? Timed. It's all distance and COVID and everything. And I did not realize that we would have to leave at halftime essentially. So it was us and a bunch of other people in line to get funnel cakes because of course you get a funnel cake when you're at the pumpkin patch. Funnel cake. Yummy. They were funnel fries.
Fingers.
They were little
They called them funnel fingers.
They were great though. They were so good. And we're all looking at the updates of the game and
everybody's talking in line what's going on?
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah. So and then we lost. It's kind of a bummer.
Look at the S7 gang over here on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of chat about that.
Android folks, I love it, man.
Yeah,
Wood
totally.
Boss, Ron Ferris, we are in Nashville.
We are in Nashville.
All right, over on Instagram we had Matt Happel. What's up, dude? Building a skirt for the Jarvis desk and plan to curve the front. And Colin 3.9 is, how would you recommend clamping a curve? Ooh, good question, Matt. My favorite way to clamp a curve, I'm actually, that's a slightly different question, but a band clamp.
I like how you just had it right there.
I just pull it up. Band clamps are great. You would take these off because this is set up. This is set up for mitered frames, and so these are really cool little clamp pieces. This is like a Bessie web clamp or band clamp.
So it can do
sometimes
both
it calls it. Yeah, because you could take these, and the cool thing about these is it spans the corner, so you don't crush that corner. Yeah. I would use something like that. You could also a budget way to do that is just a ratchet strap. I've used ratchet straps to do that.
A lot.
I do.
Yeah. As
and so if it's that curve, I think I've never clamped a curve like an open curve. I've done full segmented circles, but if it's like a curve, you'd clamp it, and then I think you would probably need something supporting it on the backside, because if you just clamped it, it would want to collapse in on itself. So you'd need a way to to keep that curve from going there. So if you have a form that you made, or I would probably cut. Honestly, depending upon it sounds like that's a nice piece that you're working on there. I would probably just use some plywood and lay out the curve, and then maybe cut it on with a jigsaw and cut a couple pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom, and then use that as a back support for something like a ratchet strap. That would be my suggestion. I think using some type of backer form is going to be your best bet.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
So I thought this was funny. Katie says, whenever Brad names a date, for a project, we need to start a betting pool.
Have the over-under. It's coming in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all can make some money. And then Jill wants to know, when you're looking at your shop space, because she finally moved into her new shop.
Awesome.
And now
Congrats,
she's kind
Jill.
of trying to get set up. So when you're looking at your shop space and deciding how to arrange it, where your tools go, how do you go about it? Do you sketch, use a program, etc.? People have already told her about SketchUp, but just
he
uses SketchUp.
I use SketchUp, and the cool thing about SketchUp is that if you draw plans for things like I obviously do, you can then, so I have mapped out the entire shop, and I've got everything. I've mapped it out in 3D, so not just a bird's eye view from above, 2D. I have the whole 3D model, and it's nice. It's super nice because then you can just move things around and make components in SketchUp. If you're not familiar with SketchUp, it's a 3D modeling program that's pretty user friendly, and you can also download things from like the 3D warehouse.
Yeah,
so you
that
can
is
like
really convenient.
you could just say like, oh, I want to have a stand-in for a table saw. You don't have to model your table saw. You can actually go, and people have already done that. You can download them. But the cool thing about SketchUp is that using it for your shop layout is if you do make plans to build stuff, you just drop that piece right in there. So like, of all these things that I've made, I literally just grab these separate files and I'll just copy and paste into that SketchUp model of my shop. And so then like when we were doing this, that's how I did it. I was like figuring out, okay, what would go in here? How much space do I have? And then I'd be like, oh, well, do I like 3 drawers versus 2? And so you can also get it visually.
Yeah.
When you're planning like people call it like paper doll, because you can like have it vertically and then just do cutouts of the footprint and kind of move it around. That is nice because it's kind of very tactile. But they do that a lot like living rooms. I remember we were getting our couch, like they had that, you like make the size of your living room, then they're like, oh, different size couches, and you could like move it around the house. But when you do it in 3D, the nice thing is you can see how things look. Like how do 3 drawers look next to a 5 drawer next to a door? If you care. I like things to be symmetrical and all that stuff.
Yes,
so I like to look at it and be like, I don't like how this matches up with this. So what if I move this over here?
I like the face you made just then. Also, like when you've done other pieces of furniture that are not even just in the shop and you've done SketchUp, I know sometimes like the scale will look a little off or wonky, and like then it's easier because you can go, wait a minute, that looks way too tall, or
it's like the
so it kind of helps with that.
It's like the fireplace mantle.
And Jill also asked, he uses this for the plans too, or for like projects. So
the fireplace mantle.
Oh my gosh,
you don't
the
want to build the
infamous
Hobbit fireplace mantle for all those
and
who.
Austin wants to know if you do wood turning. Brad does do wood turning, but not frequently, I wouldn't say.
No, I don't. Scott Wenger,
infrequent
joiners
hobby.
should be one of the last tools you should buy. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
disagrees.
I mean, I think I would buy so I'll tell you a few things I would buy the joiner before. I would buy, I mean, that's probably not inaccurate. I'll go both ways. I would definitely table saw. I would do a planer before a joiner. I always say that. Miter saw. But like after that, table saw, miter saw, planer, joiner would be like number 4 for me. And depending upon what kind of work you're doing, you could alternate a bandsaw in there. I would maybe do a drill press before that, but it's a smaller thing. So that's a smaller investment versus a large investment like that. But I would definitely do a joiner before a router table or a drum sander or, a lathe potentially, depending upon what you're buying. So it all depends upon your workflow. But if you want to be freed from buying dimension wood, you need a joiner, man.
You need a joiner.
You can do a lot of stuff that a joiner does on a planer with sleds. Yes, you can. But a joiner makes it much faster and easier.
Right.
Like joining edges is so fast.
So fast.
So fast. All right, let's see here. What else do we have? We got any other questions over here?
Brendan Horn wants to know, how did you get a sponsorship? How do you get a sponsorship?
Go check out the podcast, Made for Profit. We actually just released a new episode recently here.
Yeah.
And we talk all about how to get sponsors, how we got sponsors, especially look at the beginning episodes. And if you look at episode 10, and when I say look at, I mean listen, because it's a podcast.
Right.
It's called Made for Profit. And hopefully somebody typed that in there, or you can for them. And it's all good. Box MFG, what is up? What length, Carlini, what length of fence do I have on my table saw? I've got a 36-inch fence rail on my table saw, and that works really well for me. I felt I had a 30 on my first table saw, and that did seem a bit limiting. Like for whatever reason, I felt like I had to use it like 32 and 33 several times. I can't think off the top of my head of what I'd be ripping 32 or 33 for. No, actually I can. The cabinets. So the cabinets are 33. Like I was just making these cabinets, and the side panels are 33 inches. There you go. So, and I couldn't do that. D Petty, what's up? Big fan of me and Malek. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's hear Courtesy Bear. Thank you so much, man. Sin Cut Sin, what's up? I am very interested in your product. There's this over on Instagram, Sin Cut Sin. They had sent me an email. It's really cool, like getting emails from small companies, especially. Getting emails from large companies is very cool too.
Just getting emails from companies.
When I got a DM from Mountain Dew, that was pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, the dream had been realized.
I know. It's like, oh, you don't know how many Mountain Dews I drink. But anyway, like when small companies who have like a product or a service, they're like, hey, like we'd love for you to check this out and like see if it works with your flow. Like it's so awesome. And anyway, this company SynCutSyn, they do 3D. They do CNC laser cutting of metal, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I'm trying to and you can 3D model and then send it to them is where I was going with that. But you can
like looking at this.
I don't know. I'm just staring over there.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about using that for some of the hidden drawer projects of like doing some gears or something.
That'd be really cool.
Some mechanisms. I think that could be really cool.
Some mechanisms.
Mechanisms. So yes, SynCutSyn.
Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking about what to do.
The wheels are turning.
The wheels on the bus.
Yep.
Here, CA Construction says he likes to use the local shop, and I don't know. Sorry, I missed that totally.
Okay.
Ryan Thomas, Bingen MFP. Awesome, man.
All right. Andrew Strong says, I have a jet drum sander and it leaves these odd lines across boards. Is there a way to stop that?
Andrew, tell me more about which way are they going?
I have the, I don't know if this is the same one. He goes, I've tried changing the paper and it still does it. I have the outfeed tables sold with the sander along with a workbench inside.
Yeah, Andrew, tell me a little bit more about that. Well, and I'll kind of just answer. I'll general answer.
The sanders are the same height as my. Okay. I'll just read them all.
Okay, so there's gonna be two answers for this because one, what you might be getting is actually getting snipe, and snipe happens like most people are familiar with snipe on a planer, and that's basically where it cuts deeper on the first few inches. And that is typically it's because of the infeed and outfeed rollers. And before your board is in contact with both of those rollers, when it hits that first one, sometimes it'll get up into the cutter head, and the same type thing on a sander, it will actually get up into the sander. And it's not just that, it's not just like the board, because a lot of times it's when the board tips up, especially when it's coming out. If it dips down after it passes the first feed roller, but it's still in contact with the cutter head, the board can tilt up because it's no longer got the support back there. That will cause it. But other times it's also the torque of the outfeed or infeed roller hitting. So that infeed roller hits and it's putting pressure on it, and so it kind of torques up and then it gives more. So you may be seeing snipe if it's running perpendicular to the direction of the feed. Like if it's running in the same direction as the drum sander, the axis of the drum sander, that's probably what's going on. If they're running the other direction, then it's got to be something with the drum or the paper. And I know you said you changed your paper, but because that's what you'll get. I mean, that's the only two reasons, obviously, that you would get lines going that way is because of the drum. And you may have a nick in your drum. So the sandpaper might be okay, but you might have a dent or a nick in the drum that makes it stick up a little bit further than the rest of the drum. So I would check that out. And if you're flipping and doing like an open-ended drum sander, then it could be the overlap as well there. So you may be canted a bit off center on those open-ended drum sanders. So I would check those out. All right, Scott, what is my preferred sandpaper brand? I'll tell you what, I've been using the Mirka system for...
Oh gosh, you love the Mirka.
Yeah, I've been using the Mirka system, like you guys have probably seen it in my videos, the D-Rose sander is amazing. It is such a nice sander. Like I mean, it's super expensive, but it is worth it versus like you get what you pay for in quality and performance and dust collection versus like a $80 or $100 sander, and that's like a $450 sander or something crazy like that. But the sander,
really nice.
the sandpaper that is with that system is the it's one of the top of the line Mirka ones that they do because it's a 6-inch sander. But I also do like their lower brand, so like their regular paper, like the yellow ones. That one's good. The Diablo Sand Net, I like the Diablo Sand Net, which is the sanded mesh paper. The only thing I don't like about it is it tears up pretty easily, but the dust collection is amazing on that. So those are the three that I use, is like the high-end stuff that I use on the new sander, and I forget what it's called. It's like
it's out of our reach. For
iodine.
Once, there's like a thing that Brad cannot reach.
I forget what it's called, but it's like neodymium or those are like literally the two words that are in my head right now. Iodine and neodymium, and it's neither of those obviously, but it's something like that.
Geez.
Is that sandpaper. and then
fancy.
the regular Mirka yellow paper, and then the sand net. So between the three of those are the ones that I typically use.
Yep.
Good question.
What do you think the ideal counter depth is? That is a question.
The ideal counter depth.
Setting up a new shop and thinking about building a bottom cabinet with a 20-inch depth. Yes or no? My shop is 15 feet in width now.
Yes, 100%. Who was the question from?
Katie.
Katie.
Here.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I built the cabinets the way I did.
Yeah.
So if you guys are familiar with my cabinets, if you're not, check them out. plans.fixthisbuildout.com. I've got the modular cabinet system, and the way that I built those was with a 20-inch depth. And the reason I did is because I call them garage cabinets for a reason. Typical kitchen cabinets are 24 inches deep. We all know a garage, every inch counts.
Every inch really
Especially
counts.
if you want to park in the garage, or if you have a narrow garage. My garage is fairly narrow for a 2-car garage. It's only 19 feet. We don't park in it, but still. And so if you have a 15-foot wide shop garage situation, then if you have cabinets on both sides, you're going to save an extra 8 inches. And that might not sound like a lot, but I tell you what, if I had an extra foot to 2 feet in my shop, it would change things significantly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And so, that's what I do. And honestly, like when you look at a cabinet drawer also, once you get past, the first 20 inches, like you have to pull the cabinets way out, like the back 4 inches of it, you're not really losing much. I mean, you're losing that actual storage, but you're not losing that because it's not really usable way back there as much as the front portion of it is.
This is just a funny little insert here. Kevin says, I had a terrible Ryobi table saw for about 10 years. When I would turn it on, it would rattle and walk across the garage floor. I can just picture this little table saw just our blender when we're turning it on.
I've seen it.
I mean, that's not
I've
funny when
definitely
it's your
seen
table saw.
machines walk across the floor.
Oh my gosh.
They're
Finally,
like shaking, and it's just like they're not leveled right, and it's like.
Oh my gosh!
Like, oh, geez,
it's a table saw, but he has upgraded. So
all right,
no longer.
I'm going to answer a couple more questions on Instagram, and then we're going to sign off and continue just on YouTube. Works with Wood, made for profit, is back. We just launched a new episode.
We're back, baby.
Excuse me. So go check that out. Beck Chapman says, happy 1 million on YouTube. Thank you so much. Life of Jardines, why do Ryobi tools get a bad rep? Because they are inexpensive. That's why. Bessie clamps are overpriced. Yes, they are. How do you accurately cut miters for boxes? Adam Save, I've got a whole video on that. Go check that out. It's on my YouTube channel. Gary, what's up, man? I hope you are doing well, dude. Good to see you and hear from you. Bandsaw versus joiner. Totally depends on what you're doing and what kind of work you want to do. Helical head or carbide blades for a joiner. Or carbide blades. I've never heard of carbide blades, honestly. I've never
really
used
tough,
them.
Though. Carbide blades.
Yeah. T-Hub in the house. Let's see here. You have to sand the lines off. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see, I'm going there. We got lots of AbraNet. What's up? Yeah, everybody's liking the AbraNet. Is that what I'm talking? That's not AbraNet.
What is it?
It's not AbraNet. AbraNet. Is it AbraNet? I don't think it is AbraNet.
He's gonna go find out.
I'm going over.
Are we talking about the sander thing or
yeah,
no?
I'm taking this off.
Okay.
All
It's
right,
just me now.
I'm opening up. No, look. What did I say? What did I say?
You said no. He said. What did he say? You said iodine
and neodymium.
Yes.
The name of it is
not iodine.
iridium.
Very close though.
That is a combination of iodine and neodymium.
Look at you, smarty pants.
I just missed the R. R wasn't in either of those. But iridium. This is the iridium paper from Mirka. AbraNet is. It's not what I was talking about, but it is a good paper as well. This is the iridium paper from Mirka and is amazing. And it's got, so you can see how many holes it has in it. It gets really good dust collection as well. Obviously the AbraNet is a mesh system, much like the sand net. That's, Diablo did the sand net to compete against that. But yes, let's see here. Casey Reeves, what's up, my man?
Hey, Casey.
All right. Let's see here. Looking at getting Matthew 100, high school senior. He wants to run a woodworking business, and he's looking at getting a mechanical engineering degree.
Ooh.
Do I have any advice?
That's pretty much Brad.
Yeah.
Except
don't do
the mechanical engineering degree.
I
mean that's
I would
good.
weigh those two things. Okay, that's a huge thing going around right now. Like, do people need to go to college? Should people go to college?
Well, who is it that has the whole thing about that? Mike Rowe has articles about that. You should check them out.
And You know,
on
like
Instagram.
I would never tell anybody not to go to college, because I think having a college degree opens up a lot of doors,
Yes.
and you get a lot. I would say to go to college for a mechanical engineering degree, still a ton of value in that.
Mm-hmm.
If people go to college to get a liberal arts degree, I personally think that is a huge waste of money. Like, if you're going for something specialized where you're actually going to get training in something
Right.
specific that you need that qualification for, thumbs up.
Right.
If you're not, or if you're going to be like an art major, like it depends. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like, if you have a reason why you need that art degree, or you want to, that there's something you want to do that you need that for, that's
right.
awesome.
You have a path forward, essentially.
Right,
Like, maybe
so
you're like a really amazing artist.
that would
and
just
you're
be-
going to be great,
But my point is
yeah.
like, could you learn those skills
That's
from
true.
a different location? Like, go intern with an artist. I know that's not typically, artists don't typically intern,
I think
but
we're going off on an art tangent that we don't need
no,
to be on.
I'm just saying
we
that
don't know enough.
my point is,
Yes.
is that if there's ways to get actual experience,
Yeah.
that you don't actually need a degree to be successful in the field you want to do, then it may not be necessary. So that would be my advice. Whoever asked that question, sorry. My advice
because
would be,
that's the mechanical engineering degree. That's a lot of work. It's a lot
It's
of
a lot of work.
time.
I mean, it's
money,
4
yeah.
years, but my advice is make sure that you know why you're going to college,
Right.
or why you're not. That would be my advice. Because mechanical engineering is a great field, and there's lots
Yeah.
of good opportunities there, and you do need a degree. Like, you can't just be like,
Well,
yo,
the
I
other
watched a bunch of
thing-
YouTube videos and I interned with a mechanical engineer. I should
Right.
be like, no, that's not
And the
gonna
thing
work.
that we haven't touched on here, not to go on to this too long, is student debt. So if you're in a situation where you're going to go and put yourself and get into a massive amount of debt, whoa.
Coming around.
Is this a question on?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
it's-
All right.
Listen to her.
Just saying. If you are going to be in the hole financially and you get that degree, then starting a woodworking business is going to be a lot harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So like
100%.
it's just there's lots of things to weigh.
There is. All right, so all of my YouTube folks, thank you so much. All the Instagram folks, we're going to continue this conversation over on
whenever.
YouTube. Fix This Bill That Live is the YouTube channel. Please come over and join us. All right, we'll catch you guys next Sunday if you don't come over. But you should come over, because we're going to be still on for a while. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Okay.
All right, now that we've got rid of that dead weight. Instagram, we tried to get off of Instagram, and it's just, I have such a soft spot for Instagram, obviously. It's where the channel started, and, whatever. But we're
Moving
going
on.
to keep trying
Yes.
to get them out of there.
Yeah, I kind of scrolled down to where the questions
Yeah,
are.
okay, well,
no, Richard, this was a good one.
Yep, he already asked them.
he
Rick, what's
answer?
up?
Yeah.
Love pocket holes, but when cutting mortise and tenons, what are my thoughts on square versus rounded? I would typically, it depends on how you're cutting them, honestly. If you're using a mortiser, then you would do square. If you're using a router, then if you're using a router to cut the mortises, then I would just round the tenons, because then it's going to be easier than chopping squared corners into a rounded tenon. So typically, when people cut tenons, they do them a couple different ways. You can do them by hand and chop them, and then I would definitely square them. Or you can do it with a router and do that, and obviously, so that would then be rounded because you're using a round bit. And so I think it would be more advantageous and more efficient to round the tenons versus trying to chop the mortises round or square. That would be my answer on that one.
It's like a tongue twister.
It was. Let's see. I saw let's see here. Misfit 74. What's up? We got Matt Andrews. The Amish do great work. Keith, how much could a cutting board sell for?
There are lots of people jumping in on this one.
Good. Yeah. That's Dennis. My last one was $50 walnut. Dennis, you need to raise your prices. my
Andrew
man.
says, I started selling cutting boards for 70 to 80 and sold out all the time, so I raised my
Yes.
prices.
So the last time
Yeah.
I was selling cutting boards, and Andrew said 125. Yeah, that's exactly right, Andrew. And it's so the biggest thing about a cutting board is that, when you say cutting board, what do you think about?
Right.
There's, some people have this one picture in their mind, other people have a different picture in their mind. And the biggest thing is size, because literally, you can almost, I used to, when I had a little spreadsheet, obviously, because I love spreadsheets. And
really does.
I had a cubic inch calculator because,
Oh my gosh, I don't think I knew
because
about
I'd made
this.
some that
Yeah.
were 10 inches wide, others that were 18 inches wide. And then also the thickness and the thickness was a little bit, I think I had the thickness on a different piece of it because it's not as linear, but because, you know, it makes a difference of how much wood you need and how much time. Obviously, the larger it is, the more sanding you have to do, the more milling, and depending upon if you're using larger pieces or smaller pieces, for sure on end grain, because then you have to make all those cuts. So, you know, you could sell something like a little bar top board. You could sell something as small as that would be like a single piece, like a small, not quite that small, but like a, you know, smaller than a piece of paper. Like a bar top board might be like this big, you know? So what is that, like 8, you know, maybe 8.5 by 6 or something like that. And that's just for like cutting limes and lemons and stuff at a bar. And it might be a little bit thinner, like maybe sell that for 35, 40 bucks. But if I sell, like my typical boards were between 10, I think my typical boards were 10 by 16, actually 16 by 9, because I always thought that was, I love that like 16 by 9 is like the aspect ratio for widescreen, high definition TV. And so like that's what all TVs are shaped, 16 by 9 as a ratio. And so I would always just make them 16 inches by 9 inches because I thought like that's a really pleasing ratio.
I like that you thought it through that much.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so I would do that, and I would sell like just a standard edge grain cutting board for around $100 bucks, 125 if I had some other wood in it. If it was just like a straight walnut board, it would probably be about $100 bucks, 80 to 100. And then if I added in like some cherry or maple or accent and had some design in it, then it could be upwards of 100, 125. And then end grain boards, you know, then you just go up the scale from there, like 150 maybe, all the way up to 200. I think I sold that. I made a diamond cut, so I had the edge grain and I had a really cool design, and I think I sold that one for $225, and it was about it was a similar size, and I think it was 1.5 inches thick. So it all depends upon, like, you can make them super simple, and that's the other thing too, is like the design. What does it look like? Because, you know, if it's just like a super basic all walnut long grain cutting board with like 3 boards, you're not going to get a lot for that. I mean, that's probably a $75 board at best. Not at best, but probably a $75 board. Whereas if you start doing some designs and different things, have more wood in there and features, and that's the other thing, you can upsell features as well. So like juice grooves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Handles, or like embedded handles, stuff like that, engraving, you know, like whether it's laser engraving or CNC or like an epoxy engraving, branding, whatever those things are. That's the cool thing about cutting boards, is you can customize them and add on to the price and upsell people using little cool add-ons and get you upgrade.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, for sure.
So that's, yeah, you
That's
can sell lots of stuff. Scott Orem, what's up, my man? Heard the podcast. Thank you. It is back, and I'm glad you heard it. Let's see here. Riley's Workshop. Can you plane an end grain cutting board? You can. I wouldn't recommend it because I've never done it myself, and I've seen people say different things. What I do know is if you do it the wrong way, it can be catastrophic. Like literally, it can break the board, break the machine, or break your face.
That's what Andrew says.
He
says you can, but it's a bad idea, and you can have a board throw out at you.
Right. So like,
That
yes,
sounds bad.
yes, you can. And I'm not going to comment at all on how to do it because there's YouTube videos on that, and I've never done it myself, so I'm not going to give advice on doing it.
Right. And it's not something you would do yourself.
No, I don't do it for that reason.
Yeah.
It can be done, and people do it, but if you don't do it the right way, you can run into issues. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I like break your face. Break your face.
Yeah.
Michael Anthony, what's up, my man? Is a 12-inch sliding miter saw worth spending an extra 60-ish over a 10-inch? It depends on what you need it for. I mean, for that, you know, just know the further away you get from the center point, the more the run out is exaggerated. So that's just a fact. If you use the same blade, if it had cutting teeth all along it, right? So it could cut at any point along that blade, you're gonna have less run out at 10 inches than you would at 12. Even if it's the exact same blade, just because that deflection gets worse as you go further. So that's the trade-off, and that's why I don't have one. One of the reasons why I don't have one, and they're freaking massive. That's the biggest reason. All All right, what else we got here? We're almost caught up here. Will a drum sander do the same thing? Yes, I drum sand all of my in-grain boards instead of running them through the planer. T-Hub in the house again. There he is.
He's everywhere.
Yes, he is. Mike, what's up? Mike Donaldson in the house, saying I'm the best. I don't know about that, but thank you much. All right, what else? What else do we have here? Jill's like greeting everybody. I love it.
I know.
She's like the welcome
Just
wagon.
helping me out.
Daryl Robinson, what's up, man? Hand moisturizer. They get so dry sometimes it hurts. Daryl, I tell you the best hand moisturizer.
I have some in the kitchen. I've
is
got
O'Keeffe's.
some everywhere. No.
Working hands?
No, the stuff that you got me for Christmas.
Oh, what was that?
Neutrogena.
Oh, the Neutrogena
I should
stuff,
run
yeah.
and get it since Brad's always running to get
I'm
things.
always
I
running.
could show up with a hand
The
moisturizer.
Neutrogena, but the O'Keeffe's is really nice though.
It is
too.
good. It's similar. If you've used O'Keeffe's, it looks like a green hockey puck. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or they have
like
it
hair
in
gel.
they have it in tubes too. Yeah, it's like a pomade
Like a
sort
paste.
of feeling.
Yeah.
But it's really good and it's not greasy. I have hands that get really insanely dry the moment the temperature dips below like 55 degrees. It's ridiculous.
I know when winter's coming when my wife starts having a cracked hand.
It's
finger,
horrible.
cuticle, whatever.
And it's not about water consumption. It's just my skin. It's horrible. So
She's a delicate flower.
I am. So last year for Christmas, I think I told you, or was it the year before? No, I think it was last year. I was like, I just want maybe some like really nice hand lotion.
So I did the research, man.
He did.
I was like, look at like
And
best
I was
hand
like,
lotion.
I was expecting to get like a fancy bottle from like the department store. I sound so old from the department store.
I gave her like a 4-pack of.
No, it was more than that. It was like a 12-pack of the Neutrogena hand cream. Like I really want to go grab it. It's like it's in a tube.
It's white with blue
it's
cap,
a hand cream.
navy blue cap.
And it's great. Like it's the same sort of thing. It goes on and like it's not greasy, but I use it all the time.
She does.
And
it
in the
works great.
winter, I
So
would put
check
it on
out.
like 5 times a day because I have to.
Yeah. So check that out.
It's fantastic.
Neutrogena.
I highly recommend it.
Hand moisturizer.
And yeah, Brad was like, well, what can I say? Like, it's the best one, and I can get you a whole bunch of them, and you can have them everywhere. And that is what has happened. I've got one in the car.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
everywhere.
like tape measures or
It
pencils
is.
in the shop. You
Hand
just
lotion.
throw them everywhere.
You just find them all over the place in our house.
And you're good.
Yep, true.
Let's see here.
Oh, Kevin wants to know about hats. He would like to buy a hat. Fix this, build that hat.
Yeah.
But we don't really have
We're
a
not
date.
currently in stock.
I would love to
on
have this
those.
back in stock before Christmas, but
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
no, I know.
that definitely
I
won't
said
happen.
I would love to. I didn't say it's going to
Yeah.
happen. It's like sourcing them.
It is. I've got a guy that I got him from and through, and not talked to him in probably since the last time I bought the last ones.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, but yes, I would like to get those, but we're trying to get out of the shipping business
Yes.
because it's just something else to do. But I do like to have the hats because these are like really nice quality hats. Well, this is John's hat. This hat's a piece of junk. No, I'm just kidding. John's hat. It's actually it's the same brand, Richardson, and the ones that I get are a Richardson 115, which are like a low pro trucker, which I really enjoy. It's my favorite hat, and that's why I got them. And like the patch and everything on my hat is super nice because I got them direct from Richardson.
Yeah, that was really nice.
And I just we sold out of them, and so I was like, oh gosh, we finally sold out of them. And so I just haven't reordered any new ones because we've been trying to sell through those ones for so long because we bought a whole bunch of ones that weren't selling as fast as the other ones. So anyway,
although I feel like, because look.
Short answer to the long diatribe is I don't know. But they will be coming.
People are all saying bunker branding would be nice. I'm thinking for the hats. Brad's making.
People keep telling me about bunker. John uses bunker now.
Does he?
We're doing our merch with Teespring, which is it's integrated with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little merch shelf there. I don't have anything against bunker branding at all.
Overwhelming amount of people saying bunker branding, bunker branding.
So why are you saying bunker? I would like to know this.
10 people.
Like why are
just
you
respond.
saying? Are you saying bunker branding just because you're familiar with the brand?
Andrew says John Malecki switched to bunker branding.
I know. Yeah.
We know that.
Way to be on
John,
top of it. April
That's
was
good.
with them, but I don't think she's with them anymore. Andy
really?
Rawls is with them.
Is that
Matt
like a Teespring?
from Demolition Ranch is with it. It's his company. I'm just wondering why you guys are saying bunker branding. Have you used them? Like, have you bought from other creators and had like a really good experience, or is it just like a big name that you know about? I'd love to hear it. I mean, again, I have nothing against them. I don't know. I know a little bit just from what John has told me, but
Katie says she thinks that we would prefer Teespring as well.
I've never talked to them directly.
Teespring has been good so far. Yeah, I like Teespring a lot.
But I do want to get rid of the shipping of shirts. So.
I know, and I would love for us to be able to have hats out there in the world available for purchase without us having to ship them.
Yeah,
be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
So.
Let's see here. So let's see here. Everybody is just on the bunker band. We
Yeah.
need to get Matt over here and be like, "Yo, Matt, what's that?"
Their shirts and hats are really nice. Andrew says, "You got to get bunkers. You guys got bunkers, and then up here in Canada, I'm sorry, of course."
It's run by a fellow. It is run, and he understands the process from influencer to customer. Homes products to nice quality. Cool. No, that's good. Okay,
we'll have to check
good.
it out.
I'm glad to hear that. So that that's the. So the thing with bunker branding.
Keith says, "Ship your shirts and hats to me, and I'll handle the shipping." but be careful what you ask for.
The
Keith.
thing, and it's not even about the shipping. The shipping is a piece of it, but the other piece is the ordering and the inventory, because I'm in it right now. We have shirts, by the way. If you are a small or a medium,
we got you covered.
DM me and I will give you a deal.
Or if you want one for your
shirt.
kid for Christmas.
Anybody who wants a discounted, fix this bill, that original shirt. We still have small and medium. I think I have one extra large left. Let me know. We'll get you a little discount. Send me a DM on IG and I'll give you a little discount code. I am sold out of larges, double, triple, X. Those are all gone.
Yeah.
Have a fair amount, not a fair amount. There's like a handful of small and mediums left. And that was the last of our shipping. So that's always the thing, is that like buying inventory. And that's the thing with Bunker. I believe they screen print. So if you're not familiar with the whole process, typically there's two ways to print shirts. One is like in huge batches, and that's screen printing typically. You literally have like a screen that has the cutout for the design, and then they like wipe ink over it, and that's like it. And then they just do a whole bunch of them. And there's some time and investment in making the actual screen, and so you typically run a lot. But then you have to know exactly how many shirts you want of each size. And the other way is called direct to garment, and that's basically like it's literally a printer that. And so if somebody wants one shirt in a extra small, then they can buy that. Or if they want a kid small, like the design's there, and they can just put whatever size shirt. And so that's like inventory on demand. The problem is direct to garment, the quality is not as nice as the screen printing. So it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off between like inventory and knowing what people want, and being able to match that up with what you're going to be producing and selling. So that's been the struggle. But Bunker does screen printing, I do believe. So their stuff, I would assume it is very high quality.
Yep.
And I know Matt's a good dude. Taylor.
I know. I was starting to read Taylor's comment, and I was like, "What? Oh, sarcasm."
Yeah.
You got me a little bit, Taylor. I have to admit. Yeah.
Yes. So, Riley's Workshop. If you are a small or a medium or an extra large, I think I have a couple extra larges.
We've got things.
DM me over on Instagram, and I'll get you a little discount code for sure. We did 20% off. 20% off for anybody ordering. I just throw it out. Like I'm not trying to be dicey about it. I'm just like, I don't have a code. Like I can't tell you a code right now. I'll have to go set it up. Yes. So 20% off. If anybody would like a shirt that I have in stock on the website, let me know. Or a hat, because there's none in stock. Hats?
No. I was like, I don't think we have hats. That's the whole point.
And you do not want any of the current FTBT hats in the house, because they're all disgusting.
How many do we have in the hat or the house?
I think only 4. I think 2 of the gray and 2 of the heather gray.
The one that really gets me right now is when I'm at the kitchen sink doing dishes and I look out. There's like the TV and a couch and another couch, right? Like L-shaped sort of situation. And Brad's hat, the Fix This Build That hat, is kind of like perched on one of the cushions that sits up above the couch, and it always like creeps me out a little bit, because
looks like I'm just like
he'll be on the couch like watching TV, and I'm like, oh, Brad's over there, and then he gets up and goes somewhere, and I'm like, still over there, because I think his head is in it,
No, so when I'm watching, I'll just like I'll take the hat off and put it like, I don't know, I just like
It's
I'll
like
take the hat off
it's
sometimes.
like a stand-in, like it's like a scarecrow.
And I'll like
sitting on
put
my
it
couch.
next to me. Because, like I'm leaning back.
No, it totally makes sense.
Because I'm leaning.
But for me,
I
I'm
don't want
like,
the pressure of the hat. Like,
no, I totally get it. But for
you guys
me, I'm
know
like,
I love wearing hats.
are you there,
I'm
or is it
chilling
just
watching.
your hat? Because
And
sometimes
I
you do
just
have
set
your
the
hat
hats
on.
up just to mess with her.
You should.
Set
You
around
shouldn't
the-
actually.
set
Don't
around
do
the
that.
shop.
Oh gosh.
Scott, I don't believe I have any 2XLs. I think I'm out. But but everything's up to date on the website. So if I have it on the website, if it shows in stock, then I do have it. I think it even shows the numbers that I have available of each. So
Katie says she could make an FDBT
quilt?
with all the excess shirts. You probably could. It'd be
Yes.
great. Super comfy because the shirts are really nice.
I know.
Yes, and up north, Woodworks, the hats are adjustable, so they are,
Oh yeah,
like
they're,
a one size
they're
fits
a
all.
trucker, kind
Yeah.
of thing back in the back.
There's something snappy back here.
Something snapping back there. Yes. Anyway. All right. And Scott, you could send me one of your hats. In all transparency and honesty, I will probably not wear it because I like to wear my own branded hats unless I'm wearing John's, or at least I wouldn't wear it on the channel because, I'm trying to, the branding, because a lot of times I don't have the shirt on or something like that. So if a video's out, I like to have the hat on. So if somebody's sharing it on Facebook or something, they tag it, and I've got some of my branding because I used to have the sign behind me. Actually, I'm thinking about having the sign back there again. I'm much more liable to wear a shirt because I do wear a lot of. Actually, speaking of,
Do you have one on underneath
I
it?
have
You do wear it. Oh, nope, that's not it.
Yes, it is. It's
Is that your shirt? I
know
thought you
it's
were saying
not
it was
my
your shirt.
No, I was saying I wear
Oh
other
yeah,
people.
no,
This
it's
is a Mr. Build It shirt.
Alex's. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wearing a Mr. Build It shirt.
He has a ton of shirts and a ton of
Under-
hats. You
What?
have a plethora of shirts and hats.
I have a Hubble Workshop.
I mean, we'll still
hat.
take another hat. For
I have
sure.
a Hubble Workshop hat, but it's way too cool for me. It's a
a
billboard.
what?
It's a billboard. Taylor Hubble Workshop.
Oh.
It's a billboard hat. Like it's like got the big.
Oh.
And I'm like, I can't pull that off, man. I feel like a fraud trying to wear it. I wore it one time and I was like, man, I think I look stupid. I was like, I'm not cool enough to wear this hat. I can't. But I
I would
got it.
definitely not be able to wear that
But
hat.
I got it.
I have
It's
a huge head anyway.
Yeah.
That'd
So
look
I'm very
crazy.
particular on the hats I like to wear also. That's probably a bigger
You are.
thing.
Oh my gosh, just
is that
picking the
I
hat
only
that
like-
he wanted to sell.
I like a very small variety of hats.
Brad is just a very particular person in general.
This is true.
You're meticulous.
This is also true.
Yes. So like making that kind of decision
And that
is
extends
a big thing.
to many things. But
It does.
anyway. All right. Well, we are
Oh goodness.
we are there. We're at 10:02. So we're gonna get going. And if you want an FTBT shirt, send me a DM on Instagram and hook you guys up 20% off. Not a problem unless you want a large, and then that's a problem. Or a 3X. I may have one more 2X. Scott, I'll have to look at that.
Yep.
But anyway,
Check it out.
that'd be it. So we'll
That's it.
catch
That's all
you
she
guys
wrote.
next week and hit us up. And for all the Builders Club folks, we'll be giving you guys some updates throughout the week as we finish up these cabinets here, which I'm super stoked about because I'm ready to be done.
Yes.
I'm ready to get
Move
this
on.
because after I do that,
my
that's when we're gonna
gosh.
do the 1,000,000 subscriber video or
Oh.
the origin story video.
Are we?
That was the whole reason.
I
You
know,
told
but
me to stop.
the toilet in the dining room. No?
Save that for next week. The
Well, we
toilet.
talked about it last week. The
That
toilet
should be
is
that
still in
should
the
be-
dining room.
That should be the
The
name of
name.
next week's episode, the toilet in the dining room. What's
Yes.
this week's? What's this week's
I
episode?
don't know. I
name?
don't think we had anything very
don't
catchy.
have
We
anything
didn't talk
catchy.
about college squirrels or toilets in
No.
dining rooms, really. I don't know. You're going to have to do some magic.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
figure something out.
Whatever. We'll say something crazy.
All right, guys.
All right.
Check you guys later and have a great week. Get out there and build something awesome this week. All right.
Good night.
See you guys.
Bye.
And
And